Hello, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, back with another video for the New Boston. Now in this short tutorial series about GD inside PHP, we're going to be talking about what GD is, and we're going to be doing a variety of things with GD, and it's called the GD library. It doesn't actually come with PHP by default, so it's a library that you have to either install yourself, or because we're using the XAMPP package, as shown in my previous tutorials how to install it in Windows, GD will already come pre-installed with this. And what we do is we use PHP directly, and using this GD library, what we can actually do is we can generate and we can also modify graphics. So let's take an example and just speak about an example of how you might find GD useful. Now, you may have seen websites that allow you to upload images or groups of images, so multiple images, and you may find that these are watermarked. I know eBay, when you upload an image, it creates a little watermark in the bottom right hand corner, which sort of gives the image some kind of relation to the website. And this doesn't have to be a translucent watermarked image. It can in fact be some text, so you can generate text with GD. You can also watermark another image over an image. So there's a variety of things that you can do with the GD library. Now another example you may have seen registration forms that ask you to enter some distorted characters or blurred out or stretched characters, and you'll obviously know this is for security purposes. Now why do we do this? We use what's called a captcha form, or captcha image if you like, to allow only human-based registrations or submission of data through a form. So for example, if you have a form and you want the data to be submitted but not submitted in mass, we use something called a captcha image, or a security image really, that is only human readable, or most of the time, sort of 90+% of the time is human readable. So the distorted text has to be read and then input into another box by a user for the form to, or for the user of the website or for the owner of the website to be satisfied that only humans can register with this form. Then obviously if the incorrect image is entered or the text from the image is entered, then it's asked to be done again. So this prevents automatic submission of data through forms. Now another way to use GHD, which is a less commonly used method but a really interesting good way to use the GD library, and by the way, captcha forms or security images if you like are not always used with GD, so there's a variety of ways you can do this, but in my future tutorials that you may watch, you'll see that we deal with creating our own captcha image using GD. So we're going to be using GD to create our own and not allow a form to be submitted unless this image is correct. So now another use, like I said, is less commonly used but a really great way to go about things is, let's say I registered on a website and I was to output my email address. So this might be anything at anything.com. Now my email address, let's say we output on my profile page. Now if my email address is in text form, so it's in text form that can be picked up by, say, a robot for example, that's been programmed to go through websites and pick up email addresses, so you'll see some people choose to write their email address like this, or they might do something like dot there and then at there in brackets as well, vice versa, using different symbols. This is just simply for security purposes that they do this. However, a great way to store an email address when displaying it in a profile page, to enhance the security of this so email addresses can't be collected in mass, this gives sort of peace of mind to your users if you store it in an image form. So what we can do is we can store this exactly as text, so it can be text, but we store it as an image so it can't be easily picked up by these bots. Now, I'm not saying it can't be picked up at all. Of course it can, because the point of capture forms being distorted is so it's hard for a bot to read, or a computer program, if you like, to read. But just by adding this into an image, which is quite a simple process using GD, just gives that added security. So it's a lot more secure to store text as image if you don't want it to be automatically picked up by a piece of software that might be trailing through websites trying to collect specific information. So the GD library, like I said, is really useful for mainly these three things. You can obviously use it for a variety of purposes. It can take images and change them. We can change colours. We can change anything really. We're not going to go into the complexities of these things because there are loads and loads and loads of functions used within GD. It's a massive, massive library with lots of functions and lots of ways to do this. So I'm just going to give you sort of an introduction. We're going to use these three examples. We're going to change some text like this, so an email address, into an image. We're also going to be looking at watermarking images as we upload them, or just looking at a function to watermark images, so you can combine this with an upload script. And we're also going to look at creating our own capture form. So that's basically the GD library and what it's used for. If you are using it, if you're having trouble using it, so if the functions that you're giving that we're going to look at in other tutorials aren't working, I suggest you go and Google for GD, have a look at downloading it and installing it, but otherwise I'd highly recommend you use it pre-installed on a package such as XAMPP, like I'm using, and then it'll already be there for you installed, and it'll be available to use.